Hello everyone, Chris Profi, Musically Obsessed. Um, Trying this new background. When I first started doing videos way back last year, I actually did a few in front of my records, and I figured I'd try something different. So let me know what you guys think. Do you prefer the Miles Davis picture in the back, or do you like to see my records in the back? Just let me know. Figured I'd try something different. So what I want to talk about today is two lesser known albums by the artist Donovan. And I'm a huge Donovan fan. I actually have all of his releases on CD. I only have 3 of his actual records. I got a chance to see him live a few years back, and he put on a phenomenal concert. It was literally just him and his acoustic guitar. He was sitting on this wooden stage on top of the real stage with like all these different sorts of blankets on top of it and rugs, and he just literally sat there with his acoustic guitar and told stories and sang songs. It was amazing. And he's still in great voice. So I eventually would like to do a full discography discussion on Donovan because he's got so many different albums and so many different styles of music that he did and so many awesome songs. And I really feel like we don't hear a lot, or I don't see a lot on the VC about Donovan. So I figured I'd put my 2 cents in today about 2 of his lesser known albums, because I already talked briefly about Barabajaggle, and this is just a classic album. The Jeff Beck group is on here. You've got songs like Happiness Runs, Super Lungs, My Supergirl, and of course Barabajaggle, I Love My Shirt. This is just a great album. I talked a little bit about this album in another video, but what I want to do is talk about 2 albums that came out in the early 80s that are sort of lesser known albums, and they were albums that I kind of got turned on to as I started to delve into the Donovan discography. So the first album is an album called Love Is Only Feeling. And by this point, this was released in Germany in 1981. This is on the Interfusion label. By this point, Donovan, was not very popular. His records were not selling a lot. He was having trouble with distribution, and again, this never saw a U.S. release. This only came out in Germany and I believe the UK. And like I said, 1981 German pressing, but it's still a really good album. What I like about this album is that it's still a folk album, and it's not dated by 80s production yet. And the next album I'll show you after this, unfortunately, had some 80s production in it. But this album still pretty much stays true to the Donovan sound. Here's what the back cover looks like. It's a very flimsy cover too. I don't know too much about German or UK pressings, but maybe you guys can let me know. This actually might be in a UK pressing, but the cover is very, very flimsy, almost just very delicate. Doesn't seem as strong as like US pressings. But the songs on here are songs that the casual Donovan fan has probably never heard, but there's some really good songs in here. It starts with a song called Lady of the Flowers, which is just a typical slow folk song in the Donovan vein. Then you've got Lover, Oh Lover, which reminds me of a song that or a sound that he would have on a later album of his called Sutras, which was produced by Rick Rubin. That's a really cool album too, because Donovan was kind of trying to tap into that whole Johnny Cash, Rick Rubin thing. I love the album. Unfortunately, it didn't do for him what it did for Johnny Cash. Then you've got The Actor, which is probably the best known song off of this album. That's an upbeat song. It's definitely got some more instrumentation in it. It's, it's one of those quirky sort of Donovan songs. I mean, if you like Donovan, you know what I'm talking about. He sort of has a quirky way of writing sometimes, or quirky humor. Even the arrangements of the songs, are just for lack of a better word, quirky. I mean, Donovan just has that style about him. And then side one actually ends with two very strong songs, Half Moon Bay and The Hills of Tuscany. And The Hills of Tuscany is actually becoming one of my favorite Donovan songs. It's just a beautiful folk ballad. Donovan grew up in Scotland, and he just brings that whole Scottish folk vibe to his music. It's just ingrained in him. It shows in those last two songs on side one. And then side B, opens up with Lay Down Lassie. I love the chorus of that song. It's just got a really catchy chorus. The words are, when you lay down your brown body, lassie. And it's just, if you listen to it, it'll stick in your head. And I believe that this album is on Spotify. Love Is Only Feeling. So definitely listen to that song, Lay Down Lassie. I love the chorus of that. Then you've got a song called She, which is more soft folk by Donovan. Love it. Johnny Tough, which is another quirky Donovan song. It's got some cool percussion in it, though, that I liked. And Love Is Only Feeling, and Margarine. So this is another, like I said, is it one of Donovan's best albums? No, it's not. But it definitely was still a strong folk album by him before he sort of got into that 80s sound, which pigeonholed some of those 80s albums. So definitely, if you're a Donovan fan, check Love Is Only Feeling out. Okay, so next. In 1984, he released an album called Lady of the Stars. And this album has been re-released with many different covers, but I believe that this is the original cover. This came out in 1984 on the Alliance label. And like I said, by this point, Donovan was not really selling a lot of records. And he was having trouble with distribution. Record companies really weren't buying into what he wanted to release. So his idea on this album was to re-record some of his classic hits. So he re-recorded Sunshine Superman, and he re-recorded Season of the Witch for this album. Unfortunately, they are not good renditions because they have an 80s production that I do not like. So I prefer the original versions of Sunshine Superman and Season of the Witch. He also redid two songs from his 1977 album called Donovan. He redid Local Boy Chopswood and Lady of the Stars. Those work a little bit better than Season of the Witch and Sunshine Superman. I think because they were newer songs from 1977, so he didn't really have to update them too much. And then he also redid a song from his 1973 album, Essence to Essence, and the song was Boy for Every Girl, which is another great song. Again, is this classic Donovan? No. Is this an album that I pull out a lot? No. But it's still a good album. Unfortunately, with this album, unlike Love Is Only Feeling. Love Is Only Feeling was still in the folk vein. Lady of the Stars has an 80s production to it. And so let me talk about some of the songs that he did not redo. So he did a song called I Love You Baby, which definitely has a pop arrangement to it. It sounds like he was just trying to get something on the radio. Is it a bad song? No, but it doesn't really sound too much like a Donovan song. Then he does a song called Bye Bye Girl, which has a funky electric guitar in it. Definitely has an 80s production, but it's got a catchy chorus. I can see what he was trying to do. Unfortunately, Donovan's a better artist and a better songwriter and a better singer than, and he doesn't need all that frill. And unfortunately, these songs are kind of bogged down by that 80s frill. Then he's got a song called Every Reason on here. Another upbeat song, full band. It's got definitely a rock and roll vibe to it, simple lyrics. So this album, it moves a little bit more than Love Is Only Feeling because it has more of a full band vibe to it. Like I said, unfortunately, it does have that 80s sound to it. And then also he has a song called Living for the Love Light, which is a beautiful ballad on this song. Typical, the infamous shaky vocals by Donovan are very, easily heard in that song. And then it ends with a song called Till I See You Again. And I was listening to it today, and it reminded me of the term yacht rock. You know, sort of that Christopher Cross, early Fleetwood Mac, Air Supply. It definitely has that vibe of yacht rock. And, like I said, still a cool album to check out. It's unfortunately got that 80s sound to it. So, this is on Spotify as well. So if you are a Donovan fan, or if you are, into early 80s pop or even, updated folk music, definitely check out Love Is Only Feeling and definitely check out Lady of the Stars. Like I said, I want to do a full discography discussion on Donovan because like I said, I have all of the CDs. I'm just going to have to dig them out from the house, bring them over and show you everything. That's probably going to be like a 25, 30-minute long video. So let me know if that's something that you guys would be interested in. Also, let me know what you think of the new backdrop here. And I've got more videos coming. Talk to you later.